We told you there were some traffic issues. This is I-70 and Harding Street near that exit, and you can see the lights flashing, a lot of brake lights in that area. Lindsay is going to let us know about the traffic situation this morning. But as you can see, also the lens is wet on this camera as rain is coming down for us this morning, as expected. Good morning to you, and glad you're up with us here at 6 o'clock on your Tuesday, a Weather Impact Alert Day.
It certainly is, and if you're anywhere in the metro area, you've been hearing it come down pretty hard. Is this something that we need to watch out for with severe weather as well, Chuck, or just kind of the weather to be leery of?
Well, you know, that's a great question, because this morning we're talking about mainly heavy rain, not necessarily severe weather, although you don't want to get caught up much in this stuff. But later on this afternoon and into the early evening is when we're expecting at least the risk of severe storms. But heavy rain and thunder this morning all the way until 11 o'clock with some street flooding around. And we want you to not only monitor radar on our WTHR app during the day, but watch our newscast like this one right here. We've got rain everywhere this morning, and as the ladies mentioned, it is causing some problems out there. This is on I-70 just south of downtown. We're going to hear more from Lindsay on some of the crashes that are taking place out there. But this is rain that has been falling very steadily. For instance, at Carmel already about a quarter of an inch of rain has fallen. And notice this. This is a look at this rain pinwheeling through the state this morning on Live Doppler 13. And notice the lightning strikes that we're having. Not nearly as much as we had about a half an hour ago, but it's out there again. When thunder roars, go indoors. Let's be specific. From Lawrence to Fortville, Pendleton, LaPel, we're seeing some heavy downpours of rain. Noblesville and Tipton, Sheridan, all the way over to Lebanon. And look at the rain. This is solid rain, folks. From that Brownsburg exit all the way into Illinois this morning, Colfax and Lafayette on the Purdue campus, it's pouring. The same could be said for this area from Martinsville on Interstate 69 all the way down through Bloomington and really to Evansville, where, by the way, in Evansville, there's a tornado watch until 9 o'clock. We do not have that in the central part of the state. Slight risk for severe weather, especially this afternoon as the kids are headed off to school. Raincoat is necessary. 58 when they take off, 70 when they come back. But the stronger storms after 4 p.m. today. We'll have more on our future track in minutes. But as we've been mentioning, the big thing today are these roads. It's wet everywhere.
That's right. Yeah, it doesn't take severe weather to cause some big issues on our local city streets. Here's I-70 eastbound coming into the city. An earlier crash with multiple vehicles involved. We've got a couple of emergency vehicles. Looks like a tow truck has just arrived on scene as well, so that's blocking that far left lane. Everyone merging over to just 2 travel lanes. That is creating a little bit of a slowdown here, a couple minutes if you're trying to drive through the city along I-70 eastbound. We also have a crash out on the west side, so this is where that one was located. You can see we are in the red at I-70 eastbound. That backs up past Harding Street. Out near the airport now, we've got a secondary crash on the ramp system from Ronald Reagan Parkway onto I-70 eastbound. You can see we're in the red there if your travel plans take you out to the west side of town. This is what it looks like out near the airport. Of course, that crash is kind of located back here, so we're monitoring that stretch of I-70 as well. It can just allow some extra travel time to get to your destination today, as we're anticipating waterlogged roadways all the way through your morning commute.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. If you're just joining us, we're following breaking news from the east side, where police confirm someone was shot and killed.
This is at the west village of Avondale Meadows apartment near 42nd and Sherman Drive, so just east of the State Fairgrounds. Matthew Foltz is there right now and joins us with what you've learned so far. Good morning.
And good morning to you both. We do know at least one person was shot and killed here at the apartment complex. We're still working to get an update and some more confirmed information from police, but I can tell you it's still a pretty active scene. As my photographer zooms into the middle of your screen, we have seen several police officers standing out of that apartment complex unit. Still at this hour, we're still working to learn if that building is a focus of their investigation. We do know it looked like to be one resident was outside speaking with police. We've seen other multiple residents throughout this complex coming out trying to figure out what exactly is going on. But as you can see right now, it's still a very active scene. Early on in the investigation, we're told this shooting happened about probably 45 minutes or so ago. But again, at this hour, we do know one person was pronounced dead here at the scene with gunshot wounds. We're going to be out here and working to continue to get some more information for you, Julie and Jalea. But as soon as we get that, we'll be sure to pass that along to you.
All right, Matthew, thanks. We appreciate it. We'll keep everyone updated here online and or here on air and online. Thank you. Well, the man convicted of shooting and killing a Beech Grove police officer 25 years ago has been executed.
Benjamin Ritchie died by lethal injection overnight at the Indiana State Prison in Michigan City.
Ritchie was executed around 1:46 this morning Eastern Standard Time, just hours after the Supreme Court denied a request for an emergency stay. Ritchie was sentenced to death for the murder of Beech Grove police officer William Toney. He was put to death by lethal injection with a drug pentobarbital. The AP News reporting that 5 people were allowed to witness Ritchie's execution. Media witnesses, though, were not allowed in. You might remember last week, Governor Mike Braun denied Ritchie clemency following the parole board's recommendations. Well, right now, 2 suspects are on the run after a shooting involving an off-duty Anderson police officer. We brought you this as breaking news yesterday here on Sunrise. It happened in Indianapolis on Woodruff Place West Drive, just north of East Michigan Street. That's also over there just east of Arsenal Tech High School. Investigators say the off-duty officer's car was stolen and he was trying to get it back at the time of the shooting. The officer's family members tell 13 News they chased the suspects all the way from Wanamaker. Detectives believe the off-duty Anderson officer and the suspects fired shots. At first, it was believed the victim was shot, but doctors later found his injuries were not from a gun.
The owner and director of a Brownsburg daycare are facing charges as part of an investigation into child sex crimes. Nancy Minton, she's the owner of Main Street University Kids, and Jennifer Lingbeck, the director. They're each facing 7 charges. Their arrests come as part of the investigation into former daycare worker Gabriel Garner, who is facing 43 charges of crimes against children. Brownsburg police say that the detectives link 6 of the victims to Main Street University for Kids. That daycare has since closed.
Well, those living in Monroe County are still cleaning up from those severe storms last Friday night.
We'll have a lot of cleanup to do as the National Weather Service confirms an EF2 tornado touched down during those storms. Well, now Monroe County officials want anyone impacted by the storms to make sure you're reporting the damage.
You can also take any debris you've been picking up from your property or in the area to the Monroe County Debris Management Site. That's at North Fish Road in Bloomington. Storm relief supplies are also available at Sherwood Oaks Christian Church on East Rogers.
We're a pretty significant underdog in every game. There's not a lot of people picking us to win. We were not favored in one game. You could take a screenshot at any moment and be like, how did they win this game?
Well, we're just a day away from the tip-off of Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals against the New York Knicks. You know the Pacers are so excited to be back in the Eastern Conference Finals for a second straight year. At least fans are. The first 2 games will be in New York. The third will be played right here at home in Indianapolis on the same night of the Indy 500.
That's going to be quite a day.
So Gainbridge Fieldhouse is hosting a watch party for Game 2. That's Friday night. Doors open at 7 for that tip-off that's at 8. You can get tickets for free in just a few hours at 10 this morning. So we got information about that online.
And tonight, it's the Fever who are back on the court at Gainbridge Fieldhouse to take on the Atlanta Dream. They're coming off a blowout win against the Chicago Sky.
And the best part about tonight's game, you don't need a ticket to watch. You can watch it right here on TV for free. WTHR is your local TV home for the Fever this season. We're airing 14 games here on Channel 13 and another 4 on MeTV. And you can get the full schedule of the games to watch on our air by scanning that little QR code you see on the right side of your screen, or we've got it all listed at WTHR.com/fever.
Well, at the track, it's nonstop action and all under good weather so far, which was the last couple of days leading up to the race.
But now we've got just 5 days left until the big race. But off track, there's a cloud hanging over Team Penske given the news of harsh penalties. Will Power and Joseph Newgarden's cars failed their pre-qualifying tech inspections. The attenuator, I know I'm not saying that right, but on both vehicles were found to be attenuator. There we go. Thank you, Chuck. That, yes, on both vehicles was found to be modified, which is a rule violation. and that role is to improve safety.
So what Team Penske seems to have done is filled it in, possibly in an effort to make the car fast by eliminating more edges and lips and to improve the car's aerodynamics.
This is the world's largest motorsport event, the Indianapolis 500. This event defines who people are. And for us, especially on that stage, we believed that allowing the two cars, the 2 and the 12, to start in 12th and 11th, which is a place that they might have actually qualified in had they been allowed to qualify, was not a sufficient enough penalty and did not present an appropriate enough result for the violation.
So you know this hurts. Newgarden and Power will start 32nd and 33 right in the back. The teams were fined $100,000 as well, and both strategists of those cars will be suspended for this race, the Indianapolis 500. Power and Newgarden will also get the last 2 pit positions available. That one hurts, Chuck.
Boy, it sure does. It's going to be an interesting 500 and an interesting start to our day. Heavy rain falling throughout the area. This is live Doppler 13 radar, where we're still picking up heavy rain and lightning here. And how about this? We could see 1 to 2.5 inches of rain today. It's a weather impact alert day. We've got a lot to talk about, including the risk for severe weather tonight. We'll get to it right after this.